We are in the second of a 5-day journey from Psalm chapter 16. In this season where we celebrate Christ, the coming of Christ, and the promise and the benefit and the blessing of His coming, we see in chapter 16 of the Psalms how it echoes in the book of John. So I want to read from Psalm chapter 16 verse 5 to 6. Lord, you alone are my portion and my cup. You make my lot secure, and the boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance. You know, when we talk about an inheritance, we believe that there is the promise of a father who has said, I declare an inheritance over you. It's the promise of the New Testament, the fact that we can receive a blessing that we did not work for. David had a revelation that God is the one who becomes our portion, that God has a desire that the lines will fall in pleasant places for you. There's a premise here, there's a departure point that I often find is missing in some of how people engage God. And the promise, the departure point, is the joy of the Lord. It's the joy and the blessing of life. Our minds are very often saturated and filled with challenge and with crisis and with problems. But the psalmist rejoices in God and in the inheritance and the overflow of God's work in his own life. I see the same echoing in John chapter 15, where Jesus gives us the metaphor of a vineyard, where he says that if we abide in him, we will bear much fruit. And then he says in verse 11, John 15:11, I've told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. I believe that the meaningful existence of Christ in our lives is the promise, as we sometimes sing, it is the season to be jolly. But this is not just joy that kind of brings a smile to my face. This is a deep sense that there is an inheritance in spite of the challenges of life, that I wake up in the morning and because of Christ Jesus in my life, I have a song in my heart. I actually, from Psalm 16 and from John chapter 15, I want to challenge you in this season to consider what are the elements in your life that steal joy from your soul. And may the blessing of Christ begin to resonate in your life to a point where gratitude is the definition of your existence. Yes, there are always things that we want to change and things that we still want to achieve. But a daily celebration, Lord, you alone are my portion. Not as much as what you do for me, but rather who you are to me. You, Lord, in my life, change whatever is happening. And I've told you this, Jesus said, so that your joy may be complete. I speak a word of blessing over you, and may it resonate to new levels of meaning and of joy in your whole life.